Please don't stop scrolling. If you see this video, scroll to the next one. Okay, you still here? Well, I just wanted to, felt kind of the urge to explain, not explain, but tell the eclipse story that I had, experienced in 2017. And try and elicit or share the joy and wonder the world has. Generally, a lot of really unique synchronicities and stuff have happened to me that have shared truths about the universe to me, and I'm not really special. That's the thing. I think everybody has the ability to experience this type of thing, and it's kind of an innate thing. But when somebody comes out and shares information, seemingly like the universe is talking to them, they seem crazy. But I'll just tell you the story. So in August 21st of 2017, I knew the eclipse was going to be happening. I didn't really know the significance of it until I looked at the dates, and it was my 11,011th day of life, 11/011. My wife had always said 11/11 make a wish, and that was like a common through line or a trope, I guess, in my life. A lot of synchronicities appear in tropish manners. It's interesting how when we create stories and such, we have these tropes and these callbacks, and how comedy is very aligned with synchronicity. You know, the timing of it, the calling back of a particular thing, and it's just strange. But I guess I'll just jump right into it. It's been long enough. So on the day of the eclipse, it was my 11,011th day of life, and it was 360 days after the passing of my grandfather. My grandfather passed at 4 p.m. I was born at 4 p.m. The eclipse hit its peak at 4 p.m. So after the eclipse, I was 11,012 days old. So the alignment was pretty interesting. And so I go out to a park near my house. It's like by a river, and there is a little hill or a mountain. I call it a mountain. It wasn't really a mountain. But on my way out, I found a sturdy stick while I was at home, and got like a little bandana and put my tarot cards and crystals and incense and stuff in there, and wrapped it around the stick, kind of like a hobo stick, over my shoulder. I guess I wanted to, like, I don't know if it was performative. It was kind of performative for myself, but it just felt like the right thing to do. So I go out to the park, and the sign at the park greets me, and on the sign is a blue heron, which, if you know some of my other stuff, you'll know the blue heron's very synchromistic, very powerful creature, or at least an interesting character in my life experience. So I see the blue heron on the sign. I go under the bridge, 285, and under the bridge there is an actual blue heron hanging out. I'm like, oh, okay, well, there he is. And as I'm going under the bridge, I'm seeing all this graffiti and stuff, and it's all pretty rudimentary, not very artistic, black on, whatever the background is, no colors. And like, why don't people do artistic graffiti? I mean, I guess that's just where I was at the time. There were not a lot of people that would be able to witness it, I suppose. So so I'm looking at the graffiti, and I'm like, man, it would be really interesting if you could do a flower of life with spray paint. And I thought, well, I guess you'd have a spray paint can and a string connected to it, so you can get the perfect circles for the flower of life. So if you had like a stick with a point that you could push into the ground or into the substrate, and then draw a perfect circle with the flower of life. So I think that, and then I go up to the mountain to do my little eclipse experience. And at the top of the mountain, I have like a hookah coal, and put the hookah coal out and burn some incense. And I'm up at the top before the eclipse starts, and I do the, I guess, ritual. Pull my tarot cards and, experience the day. And then at some point, I actually put my hand down to reposition myself, and I put it on the coal, and the coal burns me, and it goes careening down the mountain. And if you know what these coals are, they just keep burning. So I knew I had to go find it and extinguish it best I could. So I climbed down the mountain as the sky darkens, trying to find this fire that I may have started, or possibly could have. And so I go down the mountain, and I find the coal and use my water bottle. I extinguish it, make sure everything is good. Go back up to the top, do a little bit of meditation, and then after that I finish the eclipse journey, and I leave the mountain. And on my way out, I'm going past the underpass where I had the idea of doing the flower of life symbol. And there's a sign on the wall that says attention in a couple different languages, with a big yellow orange exclamation point, look at me. And in the bottom corner of it is a little sticker, and the sticker is the flower of life symbol that I had imagined creating on the way up the mountain. And so now on my way back, I see a sign that says, hey, look at this, and there's that symbol, the flower of life symbol. And I was like, that's very specific, very odd. And it was for a Etsy store in Florida called Pink Lunita Designs. And I looked them up, and I found that their Etsy was no longer in business. They only made about 14 sales in the time that they were selling. So they weren't really big. So it wasn't a common sticker. And just the fact that it was outside in nature at this point in my life is very strange. And then I look it up, and one of the most recent paintings they had was the flower of life symbol in front of a sunflower. So flower of life symbol could be the moon, and the sunflower is the sun. So it was kind of an artistic representation of the eclipse, and using the imagery and symbolism that was kind of already attached to my day at that point. So it's just it's a short little anecdote. I know I've taken 10 minutes almost, but I'm trying to share these elements of my life that I found to be special, and I don't even know if I'm supposed to share them, because some of the things are so uniquely for me, or catered to my experience, that in trying to share them, you kind of taint the message as if it was an intimate conversation between you and, well, I don't know, your higher self, or the universe as a whole, or maybe the higher self is the universe as a whole. I don't know. But a lot of the things that I've discovered or come across and researched tie into my life in really weird ways and really unique ways that kind of add weight to whatever it was that I was looking at. So 360 days after my grandfather's passing, of which there was an 11 attached to that whole thing, on my 11th day of life, where the eclipse happened at 4, my grandfather passed at 4. So it's like, it honestly couldn't have been more perfectly aligned. Just the date and time and everything. And then my decision to go and do this performative act of carrying my full tarot card stick with my tarot cards and crystals and stuff in it, all the woo-woo stuff, and then go up. And I don't see anybody else this whole time. Like, this is entirely just me alone in this public park, and no one else is around. And, well, that's interesting as well. But, you know, you go through a point, and then an idea pops into your head that's a specific shape, and then you experience the eclipse, then you climb back down after extinguishing the fire that you could have started with your hubris, and then you see the shape that popped into your mind on a sign that goes to a website that has the eclipse. Is just, the heck is that? I guess it's just like a reinforcement. So at that time in my life, I was constantly researching and questioning and diving down all these different rabbit holes. And I guess I'll end this conversation with the concept of a rabbit hole, is that maybe the rabbit holes that you're going down are not rabbit holes that are going down. Maybe you're in the center of some core, and all these rabbit holes that are meandering are not going down, but instead going up to out or to the surface. And so eventually all these rabbit holes that at first glance think, oh, I'm just going down into a hole. There's not a positive destination to whatever is at the end of this thing. And another thing with rabbit holing is it opens up more rabbit holes. Now you have different paths, and it just creates layers of complexity of that. So just the idea of flipping the script and saying that the rabbit holes aren't something that you're digging into. They're something that you're coming out of. And we're all born into this world of presupposition, and that programming, everything is programming, societal. Like, you as a human are not really allowed to, you're not really given the opportunity to exist until you can recognize the layers of programming that aren't you. Just a rambling, almost 14 minutes, so this is probably pretty long for TikTok or whatever, but I just wanted to give like a candid talk about that, just that little experience, but there's a lot more to come from that connect in, like, it's like more interesting than any book media or anything you could think of. When you watch media, there's this concept of the twist or the mic drop, the comedic, like, punchline, and that's what reality feels like. It's the divine comedy, and the punchline is that you were God the whole time. You were just convinced that you were separate from everything. And sometimes it feels like spoiling life, like sharing these things. The reason it meant so much to me is because I experienced it, and the points along the way, the timing of each of the elements, had like a very profound story told just through my reality. And yeah, the main point is I'm not special. I want other people to realize that they are. Like, everybody is super special in this crazy way, but everybody's distracted with all the things, and it's by design, because you have to have this distraction and this tension in order to have this breakout. You have to be oppressed so that when you can come out of it, it means something. If everything was like, okay, yeah, one last thing. So like in a game like Mario Brothers, there's not really a game level that's going to be a flat. No, I'm walking precariously over this stuff here. There's not going to be a game level that's going to be extremely flat with no obstacles, no jumps required. It's just a flat land. You push the right joystick to the right and you end up at your destination. Well, that's not very fulfilling. So no one should rightfully want to experience that as a choice. So we are we have to have these tensions and these difficulties, because that's the level we decided to play in this game. It's the game of life. When you sat down to play, you made an agreement that you were going to choose the difficulty level, but then you were going to forget everything that would make the game easy. So once you forgot everything and then you jumped into the game is designed to kind of tell you all those things that you've decided to forget. Like, this is a niche thing, but Dark Souls. So in Dark Souls, you're playing alone in this world, and you're fighting these monstrosities that are designed to be extremely difficult. And if they weren't, then it wouldn't be as fun. It wouldn't have been such a defining game. But in this game, since you're playing single player, but you have the ability to drop notes and hints in the world that other people playing their single player games can see and read, and to help them along. So yes, you decided to do this difficult thing, but there are these little messages of people that came before you that's like, hey man, you can go left here and you can get this little trinket that's going to help you with the boss or whatever. And yeah, Synchronicity is a lot like that. And I said last thing, but okay, here's the last thing. So the word coincidence is a slur to synchronicity. Synchronicity, the only difference between that and a coincidence is some sort of meaning gained or gleaned from it. Some metaphorical thing, or some poetic correlation that it gives whatever that thing, whatever coincided to make those things happen, it gives it that weight or value. So when something happens, and I was telling my friend this actually, I was telling him we were at a burn, and so I was basically gave him the same spiel, like, you know, coincidence is a dirty word to degrade synchronicity. Spiderweb. And right after that, we see some friends of ours that camped right next to us. What a coincidence! But somebody, one of them said it was a serendipitous happening for us to have camped, for us to have traveled, 4 or 5 hours away, and then both arrived at the same place and decided to camp in this little zone. And one of them was like, "Oh, it was a very serendipitous event." And then the other person said, "Yeah, it is a strange coincidence." And this is about 10 minutes after talking with my friend about it, and I look over at him, and he looks at, like, we just may have this eye contact, like, of like, "All right, you serious, bro?" Like, just playing out in reality. And yeah, that's what it's like. It's like some sort of feedback loop where you look at something, you acknowledge this metaphorical connection or this poetic experience, and then the universe winks at you or nods at you in another callback later on, and it builds on top of itself and kind of like snowballs. But yeah, thank you for coming to my TED Talk if you didn't scroll, and please share, like, and let me know. I'd love to hear other people's stories on different synchronicities. But I definitely, I love making visuals, and I love making art that make people's brains go woo. But I feel like it's just kind of hollow in the sense that it's the ultimate distraction. Like when you make visuals for the sake of making something trippy to play with the mind and stuff, it's like, it's fun, but it's just, there's no substance to it. It's enjoyable. It's fun to make art like that, but I feel like there's another path I need to take, and I hope you'll join me, and thanks for listening. Take care.